happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day, everyone out there. Wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying your Sunday, enjoying Mother's Day, whether your mom's with you or deceased. My mom just passed away this past year, so we're still remembering her. On Mother's Day. I'm not seeing it. There we go. EMT 623. Thank you for the applause. Good to see someone in the chat. How am I coming in? Loud and clear, I hope. Beautiful day. Green. See all the green foliage out here. Obviously, I'm in New York, not in Florida anymore, but it's good to be back. Maybe I should shave one of these days, you know. Linda Pyatt, hello. How are you? Natasha Rennie, hi. Is everyone, all you moms out there, enjoying your Mother's Day so far? I hope you are. It's always a great day, I think, Mother's Day, right? Michelina Serino, hello. How are you? Dr. Pamela Chalette, blessed Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to your wife. Thank you. Vicky Smith, good morning from Maryland. Deanna Thompson, hello. Hello, all you moms. All you moms out there enjoying Mother's Day. Phil the Heater Guy, Linda Pyatt, yes I am, good for you. Pauline Buckles, how are you? Did a bunch of shows this week. We covered that the case in Henrietta, Oklahoma, horrible case. Dawn Marie likes the scruffy look. Thank you, Dawn Marie, appreciate it. My father always, when he was alive, always used to say, why don't you shave? You know, he was one of these people that had to shave every single day, and I'm like lazy shaving. I'm a sloppy shaver, and I always cut myself, so the less times I have to shave, the better, you know? So yeah, we covered that case, that horrible case in Henrietta, Oklahoma, and a lot of people had some very strong feelings about that case, obviously. And then we also covered the case of the wife, Corey Richens, who, it's an unbelievable story. She poisoned her husband, and then she wrote a book about grief for her children. She has 3 children, and she poisoned her husband, and a year after he passed away, the police charged her with his murder. And, you know, so many people were like, what took them so long? You know, it reminded me of course, of the Bryan Kohberger case, when after 6 weeks, the press was saying, is this a cold case, you know? Sunset Gazing, hello. Kim Alliston, always good to see you, Kim. Happy Mother's Day. Judy B, good morning, Sergeant Bill, everyone. Pauline Buckles, happy Mother's Day to all. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, they were saying, oh, what took the police 1 year to arrest Corey Richens for killing her husband, Eric? And the police wanted to make sure they did a good job. They wanted to make sure they had a thorough investigation. They wanted to make sure they had a good case. And the press is always the first to say, what took them so long, you know? Pickle Toes Grandma. Hi, everyone. Hello. Good to see you. 56 people in the chat. 30 with the thumbs up. Good to see all you guys again. I can't say it enough times. All you mothers is probably the most important job on this earth, is being a mother, you know. And we here at Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, we appreciate all you mothers that do a great job. It's not just enough to be the biological mother. You must be the psychological mother, and the supporting mother, and the teaching mother, and the nurturing mother that's always there for your offspring. It's such a it's such a sort of not a warm way of putting it, calling someone your offspring, right? But cheers. I'll drink water. Happy Mother's Day. So tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, Erica Olson, hello. we're going to have on a retired NYPD lieutenant, Tom Joyce, who has a second career, and he's involved in law enforcement technology, which includes, of course, facial recognition, shot spotter, AI, of course, artificial intelligence. I went to a doctor the other day for the first time, and she was using artificial intelligence to come to not conclusions, but to sort of look at all the information and give statistics on what the odds are of this happening, odds of that happening. And I sort of I appreciated it. I think it's here, and I have a friend actually who was a physician at Wake Forest University for 30-something years, and he spoke about how AI can do a lot of the jobs in medicine, and for example, reading X-rays, reading MRIs. And of course, you have to have the human element to check the work of the artificial intelligence, but it could save a fortune. But a lot of things, a lot of businesses, they're reluctant to do that because, of course, it would eliminate a lot of jobs. And but AI is here, and how are they going to use artificial intelligence and sort of keep the politics out of it too, because whoever is teaching the computer, politics are bound to crawl in there. KH Walk, I'm a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4. 6 people exist because of me. Congratulations, and of course, happy Mother's Day. Rosalind Persley, well said, happy Mother's Day. Be a mother to many. Yeah, Tina Powers. Yeah, look, no one can minimize the work that you mothers do, that good mothers do, And I know that if you're listening to this show, you must be a good mother. Because we only allow good mothers to listen to police off-the-cuff real crime stories, So yeah, I was just waxing on about, okay, so getting back to Tom Joyce, who's coming on the show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're going to talk about the technological advances in law enforcement and how they're being used to solve crimes, how they're being used to make police officers' jobs safer, how they're being used to solve cold cases. When we look at, of course, we always go to the Kohberger case. Look at all the technology that is being used and will be used in the murder of the 4 Idaho students, Ethan Chapin, Zana Knodel, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Would it have been possible to have made an arrest without the technological advances that we have in law enforcement? Would it have been? I don't know. I don't know. Think of the press. If they thought 6 weeks was a long time to get someone in custody for that horrific quadruple murder, what if they didn't have the technology? Because of course the biggest advances in that case was the white Hyundai Elantra, which was spotted on video pulling up to the house, right? And then also tracked by a gas station's video, and then spotted, or the investigation continued by Washington State University's security, who saw that a car that fit that description was registered, and it was registered to Bryan Kohberger. But that wasn't enough, I don't think, to establish probable cause. What actually established probable cause was the DNA on the knife sheath that was found in 1122 King Road. So that was the evidence. And of course, advances in DNA technology, advances in the processing of touch DNA, enabled that to come back to 99.9.8% that it was Bryan Kohberger's father. And then they simply used that information and somehow collected his DNA surreptitiously, maybe through picking out his garbage, to match his DNA to that knife sheath. And undoubtedly, that was done. K.H. Walker, yes, the strongest evidence, of course, was the DNA that came back to Bryan Kohberger's father. And then other evidence that we talk about, circumstantial evidence in that case. And all of the technological advances in law enforcement that we're going to talk about tomorrow night with retired NYPD Lieutenant Tom Joyce. We're going to segue into the cases that we've covered and spoken about. Let's talk about Alec Murdaugh. Think of that. I mean, think of that case, and think of that case without technology. Would they have been able to prove that case against Alec Murdaugh without the technological advances that we have today? The video that his son took, of course, that put him on the scene of the murders, and the fact that he didn't know about that till much later on in the investigation, and in fact, he lied about it. Yes, Pauline Buckles, you're right. That video, that Snapchat video, was such a power, and that's technology, right? And I keep going back to the New York Times article that was written. It was actually an op-ed and saying how we shouldn't be relying upon digital evidence as evidence that can convict someone in a crime like this. And the writer, and I don't have his name in front of me, he was so wrong, so wrong. Digital evidence is so strong, so accurate, and to say that not to rely on it is to show a lot of ignorance in regards to investigation. And then, of course, in the Alec Murdaugh case, his son Paul, again, took that Snapchat video, and his wife Maggie, the fact that her phone stopped getting calls at a certain time, around the time they believe she was killed, and then the fact that her phone was thrown into the grass from, undoubtedly, Alec Murdaugh's car. Bob Jones, hello from Bensonhurst. Great part of Brooklyn, Bensonhurst. Beautiful part of Brooklyn. Very nice, strong community. Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge, those are some really nice, strong communities in Brooklyn. Yo, Brooklyn! Philly Grimaldi's from Brooklyn, you know. Phil's probably sitting around right now speaking Italian with all his relatives, you know. I don't even know if Phil speaks Italian. Italianisms. He go, hey, so what do you want from me? You know, so Phil and I joke about that all the time, but that's all part of the fun, right? What good would it be if you couldn't joke around? Forget about it. That's right, Phil, the heater guy. It says it on some sign when people go into Brooklyn. Welcome to Brooklyn. Forget about it. It's become a, I guess, pop culture saying, forget about it, you know. Lou Lamorocco, good to see you, Lou. And again, guys, if some of you folks tuning in right now, happy Mother's Day. Whether your mother is alive or whether she's passed away as mine did in the last year, she still always will be part of you and always be part of your life and will always be with you, you know. That's, I mean, that'll always be, I'm not preaching to anyone that doesn't know that. You absolutely do know that. Erica Olson, how you doing? Bob Jones, good. Kami, hi Bill. Dawn Marie, how you doing? That's right, that's another one. You know, I was listening to some tunes the other day, and the lullaby that Billy Joel wrote to his daughter because he was getting divorced, I think that's one of the most beautiful lullabies I think I've ever heard. And Paul McCartney, of course, has one too called Good Night. And I used to think that was the greatest one, but I think Billy Joel's is just tremendous. Phil, the heater guy, thank you, Phil. Yeah, my mom passed away this past year. She was just shy of 88 years old. My mom had 8 kids over her life, you know. She worked pretty damn hard to raise a family, you know. And so yeah, that Billy Joel tune, you know, I'll just sing a few bars. Good night, my angel, time to say good night, and save these questions for another day. It has such a beautiful, beautiful melody. And Kim Alliston, thank you, Kim, has such a beautiful melody. And then when you hear the backstory that he wrote it to when his daughter was young, Alexa Ray, his daughter's name was, he wrote it to her because he was getting divorced from her mom, the famous model, Uptown Girl, that was written for her too. Christy Brinkley, that was Alexa Ray's mom. So he was getting divorced, so he wrote this little lullaby for his daughter. Anyway, it's if you have never heard it, it's just a beautiful. Nancy Chart takes care of a 97-year-old. Wow, Eric Olson. Yeah, you know, it's true. I mean, my mom lived a long life, almost 88. You know, when the longer you live, if you live long, you want it to be you're living long and you're healthy. If you live long and you're not healthy, then it's not. Those years don't mean as much, you know. If you can't do things, you can't be out with people, you can't go out and stuff like that and walk, you know. You want to be healthy and do things with your family, you know. Today, my 2 sons, one is, I think he went the weekend to Pennsylvania. My son Jake, who's engaged, is getting married in March. And my oldest son, Casey, who lives in Denver. I hope he's having a good day today. And I hope, and I know that you did call your mom for Mother's Day, because or else I'd be all over you, right? 110 in the chat, 74 with the thumbs up. Police off the cuff on this special Sunday, Mother's Day. Again, wishing all you mothers. Guys, I put 2 short videos up on Instagram and Facebook. And I sang, I played the guitar actually. I played 2 tunes and dedicated it for Mother's Day. So if you're on Instagram, you could pull up those tunes. KH Walker, my son's middle name is Casey. Cool. Mystique, hello, hello. It's the second tune was there were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till there was you. There were stars in the sky, and I never saw them shining. No, I never saw them at all till there was you. Pretty song. That's a Paul McCartney, a Beatle tune, right? But I only sing under a minute, because if you go over a minute on Instagram, it'll just cut you off. So I just did less than a minute. KH Walker, thank you. So getting back to tomorrow night, retired NYPD Squad Commander Tommy Joyce. At 9 o'clock, we're going to talk about all kinds of things about police technology, Shot Spotter, which is a technology that works on a microphone system that they put it in an area where there's a lot of shootings, and it will actually pinpoint where the shots were fired. And it helps the police, A, to know exactly where the shot's being fired from, and B, to pinpoint the gun and possibly the perpetrator still being on the scene. That's a tremendous technology. Facial recognition, still not perfected, but pretty damn good, you know. That was used a great deal in the Boston Marathon bombings from years ago. And along with the cooperation of the citizenry of Boston that were at the marathon and sent all their videos in to the FBI. I think there again, we're talking about law enforcement and advancements. Think about that technology wasn't around to record a video or stills and just email it to the FBI. I mean, we take that all for granted right now. And think of how tremendous that is as a way to collect evidence. And you're getting access to people's phones and people's videos and people's still shots that may have been right next to the bombers. The bombers walked amidst the crowd and just took off the backpack and left it on the ground. And they actually were able to recreate that. If you watch the documentary on Netflix about the Boston Marathon bombing, it shows you how the investigation was put together. And Phil the Heater guy, I wish they had ShotSpotter when we were in the street crime unit. Yeah, well, it comes in very handy. These technologies, and Tommy Joyce knows a lot more about them than I do, and that's why we're going to have an expert come on. You saw recently, anyone that's from the New York area, the NYPD just got the green light by the mayor, who stood up to all the wackos in New York that objected to it. That AOC is just, she's a bird brain. They have this robot, and it's like a dog, and it'll go into a dangerous situation, say there's an EDP with a knife or a gun, and the dog will go in there with no risk to humans, and it'll record, and it'll have a camera and a microphone, and you can hear, and it can even interact with that person. There's also an option for one of these things for the robot to be armed, and obviously in New York City they chose not to do that. There was a lot of pushback just for sorry guys, it's getting windy. I'm gonna hold this stuff down, it's blowing away. In New York City they met with tremendous KH Walker, I watched the Netflix Boston Bombers show because you said it was good. It was very good. One of the things that Phil the Heater guy, birds have more complex brains than AOC, you're right. Everything that makes 100% sense to me, she's against. So, that's why, and she's a falsehood in herself. I don't want to get too political. She says she's from the Bronx. She grew up in Yorktown, which is north of me here, which is an affluent middle-class neighborhood. So she tries to pretend, I'm from the Bronx. No, you're not. You were not from the Bronx, First time I saw like a politician come from being a bartender to being an elected member of Congress. It just, to me, there should be more credentials than, going from being a bartender to becoming a member of Congress. I think you should know a little bit more about the law than how to make a sidecar or a martini super dry. Let me have a dry beefeater martini with 2 olives. I think you should have more knowledge of the law than how to make a martini. So Karen Soler, I don't like. Something, Karen. Politics come into policing all the time, because even what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night about technology, there's people that are against the technology, saying, oh, it discriminates. Oh, the technology discriminates. Like that facial recognition is not fair to this group of people. ShotSpotter's not good to this group of people. It's not good to criminals because it catches them, It helps law enforcement to capture criminals. That's why it's not good. So, there's politics in everything. DNA, of course, there's politics in DNA. There's facial recognition, ShotSpotter, those robots that they're going to use in New York City. They'll save the lives of police officers that won't have to confront EDPs, emotionally disturbed persons that are armed. The robot can confront the person and see what the situation is, So, all of these things, it's political. AI, artificial intelligence. There's people that say that's prejudicial, So many other things. some of the crime fighting techniques, like historic cameras. Someone just put that on the screen, just so right. There's a lot of people that object to cameras. That Big Brother is, Amanda Kins, is the robot armed? There is a part, they could arm the robot. I think in New York City, they've chosen not to arm the robot because there was a lot of pushback on the robot, period. And if they armed the robot, I think that there would have been even more pushback. So I think the robot's going to be unarmed. Phil the Heater guy, some people are against DNA databases. Yeah, look, there's pushback. So when people say I should keep politics out of it, I can't. I just cannot. It's, we talk, when you talk about even defunding the police and all this other stuff, it gets very, very political. And this is a show about policing, so I can't not discuss it because I'm going to upset some people when they say, oh, you're getting political. Well, it's going to touch upon politics every once in a while. Anyway, so let's talk more. Tommy Joyce, again, tomorrow night, 9 p.m., and we're gonna bring in the cases of course, the Idaho quadruple case, Ethan Chapin, Zana Knodel, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. I never like to refer to it as the Idaho quadruple. I want to talk to their names. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but on Saturday, they gave 2 honorary degrees to 2 of the Idaho 4, and the other 2, they gave them honorary certificates. And there's going to be a place on campus that these students are going to be honored. A place maybe that students can come by and just think about them. And thank you, Kim. Sergeant Bill, this is why we love you. Always honest, love your integrity. Thank you so much. Pauline Buckles, yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow night's a great show. I've had Tommy Joyce on before, and Bill, please consider playing that beautiful new Martin Live. Lou, I have a Martin Grand Performance Series guitar too that costs $3,000, and it's an acoustic electric. And I saw that the new guitar that I bought, the 0016 Streetmaster, and I was like, I just love the way it looks, And I said, I have to buy it, and I bought it, and I can't stop playing it. I mean, if it makes me play more, and I did the job, and it's so cool because it's so small, but it has such a great sound. So guys, I don't know any of you other people that play guitar, you fall in love with the guitar and the way it plays, and it plays easy, and it's easy to play. Hoop. Happy Mother's Day, guys. I don't want to ever lose sight that today's Mother's Day. Again, wishing everyone a happy Mother's Day. Look, there's no more important job on this earth than being a mother, right? That's for sure, right? Everyone, the first person that they admire, the first person, their teacher, their mentor. You hope that it's your mom. It's not that way for everyone, right? But we want to salute all the good moms on Mother's Day, right? And let's hope 99% of the moms are good. I acknowledge not every mom is good, right? But let's salute the 99% of the moms out there that are good. Olana, hi Bill, I'd love to see that guitar. You could see that guitar, go on Instagram. I played 2 tunes for Mother's Day, 2 less than 1 minute tunes. I couldn't play long because if you play more than a minute, Instagram won't play the video. So if you go on Instagram, on the Police Off the Cuff site on Instagram, you could hear me play those 2 tributes to Mother's Day on that site. So, and you could see the new guitar I got. K.H. Walker, going to be lonely for Lori Vallow, Daybell. K.H. Walker, there's an example of the 1% that is a bad mother, a real bad mother, And 133 in the chat, 111 with the thumbs up, guys. If you're on this site today and you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff on YouTube, shame on you. Go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, make comments. We love to read your comments. I love to comment back. I can't respond to all of them, especially when we get hundreds of them, but we do love to read your comments. Thomas Jordan, good to see you, buddy. And if you want to subscribe to it or you want to help us financially, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels, and we have a YouTube channel memberships with, count them, 5 different levels. You see the folks in the green font. They're all part of our YouTube. I don't see the Pranzos today because it's Mother's Day, and they probably have the whole family over, and they can't get away, but they're here every other single day. It's look at all these thumbs up. It's so good to see all you guys. 140, wow, 140 in the chat, 117 with the thumbs up. Betty Spaghetti's in the house. Love that name, Betty Spaghetti. So yeah, a lot of things, you know, the Idaho case, we all know that June 26th, the hearings start for Bryan Kohberger. And I know a lot of you guys listen to other, Diana McKinn, good morning. A lot of you guys listen to other content creators on YouTube, and I'm not telling you not to. You know, listen to whoever you want to, but there's a lot of real garbage on YouTube now. There's some people that are just putting stuff about the Idaho case that has no semblance of truth. They're just trying to, you know, build a channel, and they're just making things up, and it's disgusting. And I hope you avoid people like that. So that's all I'm going to say. I mean, even we see some of the professional broadcasters that just they deal in sensationalism, and it's not right either to that case. We all know there was a gag order in that case, and I think that was probably a good idea, because that case would have went nuts if there was no gag order. And you know, they were still fighting that. There was supposed to be, I think, May 25th, there's a hearing with the judge about that gag order, whether the judge will release the gag order or just keep the gag order going. The lawsuits were filed by the media, by the broadcast media, because it's killing them that they can't have all the latest information about that case. So what they do instead is they say, oh, we got this information from someone close to the investigation. And does that make us as consumers feel good, like that's true? And if they did get it from someone that is close to the investigation, then that someone is breaking the law. Isn't that true? And if that person is in law enforcement, you know, that's shame on them that they're releasing things to the press when the judge issued a gag order. And you know, I'm not a goody two-shoes, and I know that people do that. Look, when I was on the NYPD, there were people that told the press things that the press should have never, ever had, you know. But that's... Diana McKinn, thank you for your integrity on Police Off the Cuff. Well, thank you for recognizing that, you know, and I think we do have integrity, and we will continue to have integrity, you know. And we like to point out sometimes people that don't have integrity, both in the press and even on content creators on YouTube that maybe step over the line of what we consider to be honest and ethical. So, Al Di Meola, Lula Morocco, I'll tell you, the one album I had of his years ago, Elegant Gypsy, and there's a tune he plays with Paco de Lucia and John McLaughlin, and it's called Mediterranean Sundance. And it was one of the most unbelievable guitar pieces I have ever heard, the most incredible guitar playing I've ever heard. But thank you very much. I'm gonna have to pass on that. I got a real busy next couple of months here, getting used to being back in New York, getting the show up and running, doing more shows. My last couple of weeks in Florida, I couldn't really, Lou, thank you so much, Lou, but thanks again, I appreciate that. That's very generous of you, but I'm gonna have to turn it down right now. I got a lot going on in the next 2 months. Again, very much appreciated. I've known about Al Di Meola when he was, I think, didn't he play with the Tower of Power when he was like 19 years old, and he was a beast of a guitar player back then. Incredible. K-Me. You know, hope you guys don't mind me drinking water, but when you talk a lot, you definitely have to wet the whistle, you know, because your throat gets dry, and you definitely need... remember, any of you guys old enough to remember when Jackie Gleason had his own show, like almost like a talk show, and he would sit... thank you, Lou. Thank you very much. Jackie Gleason had his own show, and a model would bring over a coffee cup to him to drink, and he would take a sip and he'd be like, oh, obviously intimating that there wasn't coffee in the cup. It was something much stronger, and it was always funny, even though he did the same bit on every show. She brought the coffee cup over, he'd take a sip and be like, whoa. He was a funny guy, right? He was from my dad's neighborhood. Joshua, good to see you, Joshua. Josh is my computer guy. He's Duty Ron's computer guy. He's a California dude, and I don't know what I would do without him, but I will do a community post, Josh. Josh is always making suggestions. He's what keeps us alive. Erica Olsen, yeah, I posted it on Facebook too, Erica. I posted those two tunes on Facebook also, on the Police Off the Cuff Facebook page. So yeah, Josh, yeah, I will make a community post. You know, there's so many things that you guys don't see that we do behind the scenes, and I'm not trying to act like a hero. Just like there's a lot to do with this stuff, and to keep it, you know, keep it out there, keep you guys up to speed on what we're doing here. You know, what we're doing. You know, what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So, you know, sometimes when I talk, I hear my New York accent myself, and I'm like, it must be bad. You know, I can't shake it. But when you finally surrender to it and you say, you know something, I'm not going to try to speak like a Midwesterner. I'm just going to embrace my accent. And when I say certain words that point me as a New Yorker, like boss, someone pointed that out to me. We love the way you guys say boss, you know. When I went to college in Buffalo, they loved the way we said beer. I don't know, how do Buffalonians say beer? We say beer, you know. I don't know, they say beer? Beer? I don't know how they say it, but they used to point that out to us. You guys say beer. And then I always, also because I wasn't just a New Yorker, I was a Long Islander, you know. I was from Long Island, and I even had a French literature teacher one time say to me, where are you from? I know I've told this story before, so I apologize if you guys heard it. I would say, I'm from New York. He goes, no. Not where are you specifically from? I go, I'm from Long Island. He goes, that's it. He goes, I know your accent is different than a New Yorker's. It has that different sound to it. I go, yeah, well, it's Long Island, you know. And then, so I wonder if people could differentiate my accent now, because, you know, I spent 27 years working for the NYPD. I spent 5 years in Manhattan working as a bartender. You know, I lived in the city for years and years. So I wonder if my accent really sounds New York, or does it still sound Long Island? Because I've been off Long Island for a long time, you know. But you sometimes never lose your accent, though. You know, you always keep your accent. But I'm sorry to bore you guys with this, but sometimes it becomes, you know, you talk about certain things and people like it. So, K.H. Walker, your accent is fixed at puberty. You're probably right. You know, you're probably right. How about people with like Lula Morocco? Thank you so much for the $25 super sticker. Bill Cannon, making a difference in true crime. Lou, thank you so much. You're always very, very generous, and I appreciate that. Again, Sunday, Mother's Day. Erica Olsen, you aren't boring. Thank you. Everyone, all you great mothers out there, I wish you a happy Mother's Day. And for all the moms that aren't around, that passed away in the last year, the last couple of years, let's say a prayer to them and just think about them on this Mother's Day, because I think it's important. to think about your mom on Mother's Day. You know, Amy in Boston. I was told in college to lose my accent because I sound uneducated. You know something? Your accent is you. It's where you're from. You know. Did anyone ever tell Sean Connery to lose his accent? Right? Did anyone ever tell Michael Caine to lose his accent? Did anyone ever tell Liam Neeson to lose his accent? How come they can have accents? And how can they and how can they make millions and millions of dollars with their accent, but they're telling you and I, lose that accent, you know? I can't tell you when I was acting and I was auditioning for things, how many jobs they would say, oh, no accents. I was like, you know, if you're doing like a commercial that's that is about, you know, it's about a specific area, like it's about New York, then how can they say lose your accent? You know, what, people from the Midwest are going to object to people with New York accents in a commercial? Oh, right, or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Think of that. I mean, how did he make it in show business with, you know, hasta la vista, baby? You know, how did he California? How did he make it in show business? So all these people that, you know, they're objecting to accents. It's just, yeah, playing a Russian sub-captain with a Scottish accent. That's right. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great? Yeah, I love that one too. You know what's amazing though, when they do get a dialect coach and they have to speak in a specific dialect for a certain movie. Like even Liam Neeson in Schindler's List, which was one of his greatest roles, he didn't speak with his Irish accent. He spoke in a different type of accent. But yeah, it was, it's a little bit different, you know? But again, I'm not going to harp on accents, but it's interesting. People goof on your accent. My father used to have a real Brooklyn accent, you know? He used to say turlet. Oh, that's how horrible is that? The turlet, you know, I was like that. It's toilet, not turlet, you know? There's other words. I can't think of all the other words, but that was one of the most, that was one of the worst ones. Oh, he's in the turlet. Oh, God, that's horrible. Sybil Bergeron. I have a New York accent, but I'm a Cajun in New Orleans. Sybil, what ethnicity is Bergeron? Is that French? It sounds French, right? Nevada Pup, I agree with Bill's resume, except you left out YouTube sensation. Woo-hoo. Whoa. 143 in the chat. 143 with the thumbs up. Brian's buddy, when I take my false teeth out, people say I mumble. Oh, God. Turlet, Dawn Marie, you remember that, right? Some of the things that New Yorkers say. There's other words. I can't... Sybil, yes, sir, it's French and German. Wow, I pushed that one out. Sybil Bergeron. That's an interesting name. Sounds like you should be a star. You should be an actress or a model. Sybil Bergeron, you know. Lynn Harvey, my father had that New York accent, the Brooklyn accent. Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, my father was from Bed-Stuy, actually. Do or die Bed-Stuy, that's what we call it. Sybil Bergeron from Alsace-Lorraine. Hendo Pomeranian Puppy, NR94. Sharon Lane, yes, New Orleans sounds similar to New York. Nolans, right? They don't say New Orleans. Although really where you say New Orleans, but Nolans, right? That's how they say it, right? What's the things that they always say, New Orleans Saints games? What's the, there's a saying they say all the time. Of course I can't remember it right now. But everyone here, if you're a New York Jet fan, everyone is so excited about this season because if you guys, and I don't mean to bore you non-football fans, but the New York Jets in the off-season got Aaron Rodgers, is now their quarterback. So all of us suffering Jet fans are really happy that the Jets got Aaron Rodgers, and we're hoping he stays healthy and the Jets make it to the playoffs because they haven't done that in a long time. Shari, oh, I'm a California Valley girl, but I sound like I'm from Texas most of the time. I picked up a little bit of Southern accent. Well, East Coast girls are hip. I really dig those styles they wear. And the Southern girls with the way they talk, they really knock me out when I'm down there. I wish they all could be California. I don't know. Phil the Heater guy, you're right. New York Jet fans always have been learned through disappointment not to get too excited about a football season coming up because we've been disappointed so many times. The one year, I think Bill Parcells was the coach, and Vinny Testaverde had a great year the year before. And early in the season, or it may have even been the exhibition season. They used to play 7 exhibition games, which was ridiculous. He tore his Achilles tendon, and it was like, oh my God. So the Jets went from like playoff contenders to nothing. That happened one year with Joe Namath too. Joe Namath was ready to come in, and he broke his metacarpal bone, I think, in his throwing arm, and he was out for the whole damn season. And we were disappointed, you know. It's Joe Willie owns restaurants down in Jupiter, and I wanted, supposedly he works during the day, and I wanted to go by so bad during the day because I'm dying to get my picture taken with Joe Willie, and I never made it to. When I go back down to Jupiter, I got to do it because he's still my idol, man. From when I was a kid of 12 years old, Joe Willie was the man, you know, and he lives down in Jupiter. I gotta see the guy when I'm down there, because look, Rodgers did the right thing. Rodgers was also number 12, and the Jets had retired Joe Namath's jersey, number 12, years ago when he made it to the Hall of Fame. And Rodgers did the right thing, and he said, no, I'll wear a different number. I'm not going to wear the number of a retired New York Jet who's in the Hall of Fame. And now Rodgers is number 8. Dawn Marie, Joe Namath's all over the town. Yeah, I love Joe Willie. He's such a cool dude, you know. First guy to wear the white shoes. He was cool, man. He had the Fu Manchu mustache. You know, that was pop culture, as they would call it back then, you know. Guys, I want to wish again everyone a happy Mother's Day. I want you to have a great day, a fantastic day today. For the mothers that weren't with us, say a prayer for them. And have a great day, everyone. And God bless, and we'll talk soon. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., retired NYPD Lieutenant Tommy Joyce talking about coffee, cuffs, and candid cannon, the morning show with Bill Cannon. That's Lula Morocco's title, and he won't ever let me forget that. Betty Spaghetti, good to see all you guys. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.